Welcome back to Season 2 of the Love Letters to Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Pasmino. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Heather Weidner, and I am the author of the Delaney Fitzgerald series, the Jules Keene Glamping Mysteries, and the Mermaid Bay Mysteries, which come out in 2023.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing this morning?
I'm excellent. Thank you. How's the weather over there?
It is insane. I think we've had like all 4 seasons in the last 2 weeks. So they kept saying, oh, you're going to get 3 to 5 to 8 inches of snow, and we got about a half inch.
Oh, well, that's not too bad then.
No, I think it'll be okay. I think Tidewater, the coastal area, I think they're going to get slammed tonight.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm glad I'm not there right now.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I grew up there, and everything just kind of shut down when there was ice and snow, because it was just, we didn't have snow plows and things like that, snow tires and stuff.
Yeah, I think they're finally starting to see that this is happening more regularly. They're planning ahead. That's good.
And my team at work, we're still working remotely. And it was really funny. The very first snow day on a Monday, they're like, oh, no more snow days. I'm like, yeah, sorry, you can work from home now.
That's
No sledding. You do that on your lunch hour.
Where do you work?
I work for Virginia Housing. We're one of 50 housing finance agencies in the country.
Okay, awesome. How long have you been doing that?
This is my 22nd year. I started out as their tech writer, and I am their quality assurance and governance manager right now. So
Oh, awesome.
it's lots of fun, and it's an amazing place to work. We've got such a wonderful mission to help people buy houses and to stay in their houses. So
I love that.
It's just a fabulous place.
Excellent. So, was this the job that you were able to start your creative writing career?
It's allowed me to do that. I started probably in the 3rd grade. I mean, I just always wanted to write, and I love mysteries. And there's just 2 or 3 horrible teenage stories and poetry in the drawer, and I don't know if they'll ever see the light of day, but I do write at lunch. And then now that we have been working from home, I decided during the pandemic that I was going to take my commute time, because it's about 2 hours total every day. So
Wow.
I said, I'm going to write every day, 2 hours, and then on my lunch hour. And it really helped. I mean, I'm way more productive than I used to be.
That's excellent. So, when did you feel like you had developed your voice?
Voice. That's interesting. I don't know if you ever feel like it's always fully developed. I was a cops kid growing up. My dad was a police officer in Virginia Beach, so I thought like everybody talked about murder and mayhem at the dinner table. I was in college before I realized some people don't talk about, true crime at the table. I thought, wow, okay. So I'd always loved mysteries. I mean, I started out with Scooby-Doo and Nancy Drew and all the 70s cartoons with the Funky Phantom and the Groovy Ghoulie and all of those, Josie and the Pussycats. And so it just became like a gateway to Agatha Christie and all the fabulous mystery writers that are out there. So I've always loved reading, and it was just something that I want to write mysteries. I can do this. This is fabulous. So, and it is so much fun.
Nice. So, I'm very curious because similarly to Tim Dorsey and Carl Hyacin, you're a mystery novel writer from a state where you write the stories about your state. Do you ever look at newspaper articles and take your ideas from there like they do?
Oh, I get ideas from everywhere. No one is safe. I mean, conversations, little bits and stories people will tell me. And they're really funny now, because now they'll send them to me like, oh, you should look at this, this suitcase washed up on shore and it had something in it that looked very, mysterious. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Or I'll be driving down the road and I'm like, you could throw a body over there and that would just be an interesting story. And Virginia is so amazing. We have such diversity with, I'm in the middle, I'm in Richmond. So you can be in the city in Washington in 3 hours. Well, hopefully if the traffic's not horrible, then you can be in the mountains, or you could be at the coast in 2 hours. So there's just such a variety in history and all of the food and the culture and the museums. So I love to share that. And I've always lived here, so I write where I know. So all my stories are set somewhere in Virginia.
Okay. So, since you're based in Richmond, would you say that's your favorite area in Virginia?
Pops up a lot, but my very first published story was in Virginia is for Mysteries, and it was set at Chicks Beach in Virginia Beach, next to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. So I've done a couple in Virginia Beach. I have a new series in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a glamping series, and so that's up near Charlottesville. And then I have a new series that comes out next year, and that's set at a coastal town, and I kind of made it up. It's Mermaid Bay, and I set it somewhere down near Williamsburg, Yorktown, somewhere in that area.
Oh man. Okay. So, how many books in total have you written?
And let's see. I have 4 novellas, 4 in the Delaney series, 1 in the Vintage Trailer so far, and 5 short stories, and then a lot of nonfiction kind of articles and things like that. So it's really exciting. I've Level Best purchased 3 for Vintage Trailers, so there'll be 3 in that series and 3 in the Mermaid Bay series. And hopefully there'll be some more of those. And there's another Delaney book coming out too. So they're set in Central Virginia, around Richmond.
Okay. Have you ever wanted to adapt any of your books into a movie?
I think that would be fascinating. I mean, that's always my dream, because people will ask sometimes, I'm like, who would star as Delaney, or who would be your character, and who would do this? And I always have dogs in the stories. So my 2 Jack Russells appear in some of the stories as characters, but I'm like, I don't know if they have the temperament to be in a movie. They may have to have a body double. But the stars, I started the Delaney books back in the 90s, and in my head, there were stars then. And so now I'm like, that person will kind of have aged out of the demographic. So I have to kind of look at some of the newer stars. But whomever it would be, it would need to be a Southerner, and she needs red hair. So
Okay.
we would have to find somebody. But
Oh,
that's always exciting to think of. And I've talked to some other writers who have sold the rights to their books and their series, and sometimes the show or the movie buys the characters, and they don't really buy the book, so they just want the characters for new things.
right.
And that would be interesting to see how somebody else adapts my story.
Mhm.
I think that would be fun.
Okay. So I did remember what I wanted to ask you, and that was, how was the process of getting published for the first time?
It's long, very long, very long. You need to be very, very, very patient. And one of my wonderful writer friends, Mary Burton, said one time, write your next book. There's going to be a lot of downtime. And if you agonize over, did I get an email? Did I get a letter? Did I get a rejection? That you just kind of spin in that mire of, am I good enough? So write your next book. And I agree. I mean, it's a business. Sometimes it's not your writing. Sometimes it's not your idea. Sometimes the publisher or the agent already has a story with a ghost in a library, or a knitting story, or a story with a talking dog, or I'm just making this up. And with traditional publishing, you're writing almost 2 years in advance. So you're writing, what do they think will sell in 2 years from now?
Wow, okay.
And so it is very long and arduous, and sometimes you only have one shot. So you need to make sure that your manuscript is as ready as you can possibly make it. I mean, make sure you've had beta readers and critique partners and critique groups help you and look at it, and editors and proofreaders, because there are lots of agents and there are lots of publishers, but you really only get that one chance to say, here I am, and I'm a new author.
Okay. Have you worked with multiple publishers?
Have through the years, yes, which that I like that, because I get to see different styles and different ways people do things. And I didn't know a lot about the publishing business when I first started. I mean, I just thought I was going to write books and get checks. That's what writers do. Right? No, that first contract came and it was like, you're going to do Pinterest and LinkedIn and Facebook, and you need an author page and you need a website and you need a blog. And how often are you going to blog? And do you have a chat? And do you have, do you take videos? And now it's TikTok and
Wow.
Instagram. So you do have to balance this because you need to be a part of the writing world and interact with readers, but you need to write your next book too.
Wow. So where in Virginia Beach did you grow up?
I grew up in Kempsville, downtown Kempsville. And I went to Virginia Wesleyan and I went to ODU for a while until I got married and moved up here. And let's see, Kempsville High School. Go Chiefs.
So I always ask everyone the same question. How do you recognize someone from Virginia?
Oh. Let's see. The flip-flops come out about 60 degrees. Some of it is funny because I don't realize it, but my husband is from Pennsylvania. So he'll say things and I'm like, what? No, because he had Virginia Smithfield ham one time.
Mm-hmm.
And he leans over at the table and he goes, this is rancid. Why is she serving salty ham? And I'm like, honey, that's the way it is. Virginia ham is salty.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, something's wrong with this ham. I'm like, no, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's funny. I've never known ham to not be salty.
Exactly. I was like, what? What are you talking about? And we've got a mix now in Virginia, so you'll hear it. But years ago, I don't know what you call soft drinks, but it was always Coke. It was, if it was Sprite or Dr. Pepper or whatever, it was Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And it was never soda, and it was no, soda was baking soda. And because people said, well, give me a pop. And I'm like, you want a what?
Oh yeah. Are we taking this outside or something?
Yeah. What is this?
That's funny.
But there are some just regional Virginia dialects that are very funny that I don't know. I mean, I never thought I had an accent until I went to college, and people are like, oh yeah, you're Southern.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Well, it's very slight, but you're one of the only people I've had on the show where I feel like you have the true Virginia Beach accent.
Good. Yep, I grew up there my whole life. My family, well, actually, we started doing our genealogy to see, where we came from, because I just didn't know. My dad's side has been in Virginia Beach since 1619, so it's like we've been here a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they came over from Scotland way before, because my friends kept saying, oh, did y'all come through Ellis Island? And I'm like, oh, no, we were here.
Wow. That's amazing and very rare.
Yeah, especially for the beach area, because I just assumed that, they came in somewhere and migrated to Virginia, but they that's where they landed. So
Do you still have family at the beach?
I do. I have lots of cousins and uncles and aunts, and I miss it. I mean, I live here by the lake, and it's nice and it's beautiful and the trees are great. I love the rolling hills, and you can go from city to cows in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just Virginia Beach. I mean, there's Virginia Beach in the summer where it's crazy and all these tourists and lights and fireworks and bands and concerts and things. And it's more rural around here. I mean, things close up about 9 o'clock, and it's a different world.
It seems like a better place to concentrate and get work done, though.
Yes, probably. You're right, because I think if I were at the beach, I was more active and going out, and we would just do all kinds of things. And late night, well, that's when I could stay up. Then late nights. You get to a certain age, and it's like, nope. My husband will say, remember 9 o'clock? We used to go out at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, oh yeah, not anymore. It happens after 9. I'm going to tape it, record it.
Amen. Yeah, I'm definitely the same way.
It's very funny. But yeah, I do miss the ocean. There's just something about the ocean that I have to go visit it at least once a year.
Yeah. It's good for the soul. It's regenerative.
It is.
Do you have anything? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I was just thinking about all the things in Virginia Beach that they don't have here. I mean, we have seagulls here, but the sandpipers and I drove around for 24 years with sand in my car, and you just never got it out of your car.
Yeah. So people also say that when you move from Virginia Beach to Richmond, it's almost impossible to find any decent seafood. Do you eat seafood?
That is the funny thing. They laugh at me. I grew up at the beach. I have a favorite seafood restaurant. It's Rudy's on the Inlet. Every time we go to Virginia Beach, I have to go to Rudy's. But I only eat tuna, scallops, and shrimp, and that's it. I mean, my husband just loves seafood, and you can get it up here, and there's some places, but yeah, it's not like at Rudy's or those areas where it comes right off the boat. It,
Right.
it's there's just something about it that's fresh.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. This was so much fun to talk mystery and books in Virginia, and I'm a lifelong resident, so I mean, there's just so much here, and it's like, hey, we have ties to Edgar Allan Poe, and if you've never been to the Poe Museum, you've got to go. I mean, it's just one place you have to visit in Richmond.
I
And
love the Poe Museum. I've been a couple of times.
oh, it is so much fun. And every year they have the Poe birthday bash, and it's freezing cold, but it's 24 hours in January, and there's just anything Poe related. And I got to sign a book there one time when Virginia's for Mysteries debuted. Dr. Poe was one of his distant relatives, and I got to sign a Poe descendants book. So that just was like one of the highlights of my life.
That's awesome. Wow.
So that is always fun. But
I
yes,
love
so you have to
mystery.
come visit us in Richmond.
I will. And I love mystery, so I can't wait to get my hands on some more of your books.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I enjoyed it. And can't wait to talk to you more about social media and the video work that you do. That's so exciting.
Thank you. Absolutely. I'm an open book and I'm available most of the time.
That's me. If it's evenings and weekends, usually work. The day gig is a lot of people will schedule things in the middle of the week, and it's like, nope, I have a day gig, and
Yeah. It makes things complicated. I've always had a really weird schedule, so I am by appointment only now, and that's really nice.
well, that works out well. And I think as much as I would never wish a pandemic on anybody, I mean, I think it was this awful, traumatic, horrible, horrible time, but we did learn some things, like, I can slow down and it's okay, and I can schedule things.
Exactly. I'm grateful personally. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed it. And
Do you have a hard time coming up with content ideas for your podcast? I find that there is nothing more embarrassing than all of a sudden being stumped in the middle of a conversation where it's like, I know I had more questions for you, but I just can't remember what they are right now. And that's why I'm trying Poddex. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C.